USB.
I so appreciate your support.
I just love you, man, and I look forward to seeing you again. I'm not going to be a stranger.
Listen to his show. Absolutely, 95.5.
Tell me why, tell me why, tell me why. Why can't we live together?
Welcome to the Shelley Wynter Show, the show for the politically homeless.
The Shelley Wynter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant. And now for going forward, from this day forward, August 7th, the Shelley Wynter Show is the home for the political homeless. That's right. This show is for all of you who don't know what side you're on anymore, because the Democrats have left you. You're a Democrat, you're a moderate, you're kind of just a pragmatic person. You don't think men should be in women's sports, but you also don't think that people should be demonizing a whole group of people. You don't think that police should be banned and abolish the police, but you also know there should be reforms going on with the police force. You're a Republican like me, but you don't think the Muslims are going to take over the world in the next election. You're also a Republican like me, and you said, oh, for years you screamed and yelled about the debt, and you said, oh my God, we can't have this debt, and then you can't support a party that just added 3.6 trillion with a trillion dollars to the debt that we have right now. You don't have a home. You don't have a political home. You don't know where you live anymore. You go to a house, it says Republican, and you don't recognize it anymore. The paint is different. The people inside are different. You don't know. You don't live there anymore. They tossed you out because you don't have a political home. You're a Democrat, you're a lifelong Democrat, and you don't recognize what's going on in your own party. They're not talking to you anymore. You're not trying to fix things anymore. They're just, we're against Trump. And you don't understand that. Yeah, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean to my daily life? You're a voter in America in 2026, and you have no clue what party represents you anymore. You're a politically homeless. This show, my friends, is for you, because that's what happened to me. Over the last several months, I'm still Republican. I'm still conservative, but I don't recognize this party anymore. It doesn't represent me anymore. I see things said on social media that I don't understand. I see things said that make no sense to me. Back last summer, I said to all of you, this big, beautiful bill is a monstrosity of spending and deficit and debt-adding deficit spending. It was adding to the debt. I said this back last summer. So much so, I called out names of the people that signed on to this thing, this monstrosity of a bill. And all I got back from people was, well, it's the biggest tax cut ever, Shelley. And I just said back to them, well, why couldn't I get the tax cut separate than the spending? You could have given me the biggest tax cut ever in the history of this country without all the rest of the stuff. You could have given it to me in a separate bill. But no, you wanted to toss it into this big, beautiful bill that had a bunch of stuff stuffed into it. And the only thing the people, the talking point, the messengers would say, tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts. But it was more than just tax cuts. It decimated a whole industry of THC-infused beverages. It did so much more. It allowed surveillance cameras everywhere. It did so much more. And I said that then. And I called people out. I said, this is not Republican. This is not conservatism. Not at all. So much so that at the time, 2 days before, I was to go to the Georgia GOP convention and sit on a stage with some of the very conservative, so-called, Republican, so-called congresspeople that signed this bill. And they told me, no, we got to pull you from doing it. We're going to give it to Phil Kent. He's going to do it. Now look at us. $3.6 trillion added to the debt in 18 months. That's not conservatism. That's not a Republican Party thing to do. Then we ran on America First. We're going to be America First. We're going to take care of the people. We're going to get this economy down, and we're going to make it affordable to everybody. Now everyone's running away from the word affordable. The president himself said affordability is a term invented by the Democrats. And everybody just sat along and rode along, kept drifting farther away from me. I have Democrat friends. They still say quietly, or in the quietness of social media, they'll say vote blue no matter who, but they don't recognize their party. They don't know who to vote for. They're just as mad as we are. The only thing they have going for them is we got to get the Republicans out. The only thing Republican voters have, we can't let the socialists in. How is that in any way, shape, or form doing anything for you as an individual voter? They don't hand me this idea that, I just vote for politicians. I don't want them to do anything for me. I'm going to do everything for myself. The government is not there to help me. That's a ridiculous contention. Then why have the politicians? If the government is not there to help you, why do politicians run on what they're going to do for you? It's ridiculous. This show, August 7th, the Shelley Wynter Show, is the home for the political homeless. Because that's where I am. I'm homeless politically. I don't have a home. I have to look at candidates, individual candidates, and say, I like that. I don't like that. I love that. I don't love that. That's what I have to do. And I love it. I kind of like it out here. Not knowing, not having a political home. It's kind of freeing. It kind of allows me to broaden my horizons. It kind of allows me to look at human beings and look at policies on how they impact human beings. Every human being, from the downtrodden to the least of these, all the way up to the top. Because I'm someplace in a lower middle. But most importantly, as a politically homeless man now, I'm able to look at each individual candidate and say, how will your policies impact my life? That's the way I've always seen it. That's why I've always voted Republican, because their policies impacted my life positively, particularly in economics. But now, that's not the case. So why should I continue staying in that Airbnb called Republicanism? Why should I stay with all my friends and all my roommates in this home? It looks different. It feels different. It is different. I'm still a Republican based on the true definition of what it means to be one. And I know my friends who are Democrats and moderates and not far left progressives, they're feeling the same way because they tell me every day. They may talk tough on Facebook, but when I catch them in a bar by themselves, they're like, man, I don't know what's going on with the Democrat Party. Even the candidates here in Georgia are running to the right of the current DSA people. They may endorse them. We'll get to that later. They're trying to coalesce. But I get that. But it's everyone right now is politically homeless because our parties don't represent us anymore. I've never been a Democrat, well, except for when I first started voting in my 18, 19, 20s, up into my late 20s. But other than that, I don't recognize the Democrat Party. And I certainly don't recognize my own party. So I am who I am. I'm still Shelley Wynter, conservative. The party left me. And I'm sure the same thing can be said about the Democrat Party leaving a lot of my Democrat friends. So this show, going forward, the Shelley Wynter Show, is the home for the politically homeless. 448-720-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. When we come back, I'm going to prove to you just how my Republican home has been invaded by people that I don't recognize anymore. That's coming up next on the Shelley Wynter Show.